So you walk into a room, and in my day, there would be people sitting behind a table. And you go through the door and they'd say to you, "Oh, hello, darling, sorry, we need a blonde." Or, "Oh, hello, darling, sorry, we need someone taller." Or, "Hello, darling, oh, you're a bit big for us." And that's absolute. You then walk out the door. And what you have to learn from that, and it takes some time to learn it, is that that rejection is not personal. And that's a very tough lesson to learn.
If you can do it, relax. Relax and do your version of the thing, and spend less time worrying about what do they want, what should I give them, and do your sincere version of it, and then see what happens after that.
The tricky thing about acting is auditioning is the job. Getting the job is the bonus. So, and of course, it's the only profession where you do your job and don't get paid. So if you consider auditioning your job, you just don't get paid for auditioning. So you have to get really good at it. And it's not a fully unrelated skill set, but kinda, because you're being asked to do, on some level, engage your imagination more than you would in a show, on some level, because you don't have the benefit of sets, lights, costumes, orchestra, other actors. I mean, occasionally you get a great reader who's willing to play with you, and you're like, "Oh, thank you so much." But sometimes readers have been given instruction to just kind of not give you so much. So you really are, you're trying to do basically the impossible, which is mind read. So if you can not do that, not focus on that part of it, which is you're never going to know what's inside somebody's mind, you have to come in and make a strong choice. I mean, I don't know a director who doesn't want you to make a strong choice.
Always wear a wig. No. When we're auditioning people, I look for, making choices, but still being adjustable. I like when people come in quite prepared, especially TV auditions. It's nice if they're not eyes to the page. I mean, I'm looking for people who know where the jokes are and how to land them, right? And because it's interesting. Maybe look through your script and circle what you think are jokes, because there might be ones that you didn't realize are tiny that are in there.
This is sort of a cliched answer, but it's bring yourself to it. Don't try to do what you think they want. Interpret the character and do your scene work, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be cast in a role that you're not going to be able to bring yourself to. But of course you want to get the job, and getting the job is also much easier if they see you in that role, as opposed to some facade of it.
Performance, then you have to just totally let go and just, again, be present and be as much yourself as possible. That's the hardest thing about life anyway, and I think it's the microcosm of that, the intense even a moment like this of an interview with a camera, it's you have to, what the longing is to be as you possibly can be, whatever that means.
It's terrifying. Audition is terrifying. So anything you can do for yourself, I think that puts you personally at ease. And for me, it's usually preparation. That's when I feel like I can let things fly, as if I'm fully prepared. So.
Yeah, if you stand in a powerful pose, I would say probably just stick to this one, because this might be a little too much in the audition room. People might think you're crazy. But even this, sometimes girls are like, "Wow, she thinks she's cool," but they work. They really do. They trick your brain into feeling like you've got this.
Don't go into the room if you're not prepared. If whatever the material comes too late, or you something came up and you didn't have time to prepare, it's okay. Just don't go. I feel like to walk into a room and be like, "Oh, I'll just show up and wing this" or something is always the wrong choice to make. I've done that before, and it always backfires. If you haven't had time, just wait it out, and something else will come along.
Just be prepared. If you can be so prepared when you walk in, if you can learn the sides they've sent you and the song and be off book, so that you're not having to do this, and always make sure your book is full of songs. Don't just go with one extra song. Have your whole book, and so the director can flick through and say, "Oh, I want to hear this."
I would say really figure out what you're the absolute best at, and push that forward. I think a lot of actors end up wanting to say, "I can do anything you want me to do," and even though that sounds right in your head, that's not going to help you get a job. So instead, look at the market, look at what's happening, and say, oh, that thing I know I would be best for.
I never booked anything in Chicago. I was in the Second City, and so that audition process was an improv process, so I was comfortable in that. I will say, when I used to go in, like they used to do this show, Early Audition, was shot out of Chicago, or sometimes they cast movies out of Chicago. When I became an improviser at Second City, I would take that validation and that confidence with me into the audition room, and I think that used to help me. Again, still didn't book anything, but just taking like that thought of like, you know what, in the little show I'm doing downtown, or in the thing, I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I got this, you know, not in a jerk way, just in a way like, I have every right to be here kind of way. And hopefully that lets you, like, so much of auditioning is just like putting all your baggage down about being there.